Okay, so let's start now. For today's topic is about Mikrotik VPN and PPOE clients. So if you have follow our webinar before this, MK01 until MK06. MK01 is about basic Mikrotik, and MK02 until MK06 have covered a few features about the Mikrotik, such as hotspot, load balancing, VRRP, and others. So for today's topics, we will talk about few VPN on Mikrotik, few sample. And first, we must know about the Mikrotiks. What is actually router OS and router bot? These two main thing about the Mikrotik. So the router OS is operating system that run inside the router bot, and the router bot actually is the hardware. Can be the router, access point, wireless bridge, and switch. So for more details, you can go to www.routerbot.com. So there you can see everything about the Mikrotik products. And this one is a few products what Mikrotik have. From here you can see here is the router board set with the casing. This one just only the router board, so you can customize. And then we have also the wireless AP and switches. Okay. The best about the Mikrotik is everything from the lower end until the high end Mikrotik router, you can do the same thing. Just the difference is only about the hardware spec and the license. So before you start do anything, so you must understand and confirm about the license on the router you buy. For example, if you're using license 4, so for focus about we focus today about the VPN, right? So you can see here PPTP, L2TP, for example, license 4 just only can support 200 active tunnel. Okay, and license 5 is about 500, and license level 6 is unlimited. Here can to support the PPOE, PPTP, L2TP, or OpenVPN as well. The license is never expired lah, so you just buy one time only. By right, the hardware is come bundled with license already, unless you install the router S inside the VM. So you need to buy the license. If you're using free license, you just only for the VM. If you're using free license, the port bandwidth only can support 1 Mbps only. Okay, next we start from the VPN. What is actually VPN? VPN is actually the private network built on top the current network, or we call as overlay network lah. And then they will give you online privacy and anonymity by creating private network if you're connecting from public internet connection. Okay, this one is an example how VPN connection. So here you can see this one can be your office or your home. This one is your remote station. Maybe your laptop you access it from outside. For example, you bring at Starbucks, you want to access your server in office, so you can connect via VPN. This example is using L2TP tunnels. Okay. So this two side, the main side, server side and client side. In server side, there can be server. As I mentioned before, you can install the router OS inside the server or router itself. Okay, any router Mikrotik can do the VPN server. And then from the server side, you must have one public IP or or using Mikrotik DNS. Client side could be laptop or router. If you do the side-to-side VPN, so it will be router lah. And then for the client side router, not only for Mikrotik, you can link with other brands such as FortiGate, Sophos, or Paluto as well. So a client will get additional private network from the VPN server. So VPN server actually will give dummy IP or same segment from the local IP. Okay, why we use VPN is about mostly about security. So they will encrypt your data when you're accessing from public network, private environments, to access internal network from outside. Okay, to bypass geo restriction. For example, if you go to China, they block Facebook, so you can use the VPN to access the Facebook, and then you can bridging multiple network side to side. For example, you have one company with multiple branches, so you can link all your branches to the HQ using side to side VPN. This one you can use either L2TP, PPTP, or OpenVPN. Now we go to how to configure actually for L2TP VPN for the server side. First thing that you must make sure is about the firewall rules. So for example, you're using L2TP, so what the port that we use, 500, 1701, 450. So this port you can Google. For example, if you are using HTTP, what port they're using, PPTP or OpenVPN, what port they're using. So this firewall rules is to allow all this port to connect from the outside. Okay. And then what you need to do is HTTP. This one is profile. You must do profile first. For the name is you can put anything. And then if you are using IP VPN pool, so you can create first IP pool. That one I'm not covered in this topic because that one it should be covered on MK01 session. So I assume you already know how to add the IP pool and local address. So for here, if you have already IP pool, so you can set here remote address to IP pool that you have been set. And local address will be the gateway in your local. DNS is optional, you can put if you want. Okay. Next, you can you do the VPN client user. For example, for this, you can go to PPPP secret tab. I will show you later, and add new secrets, and select profile that has been created before here, and enter the password assigned to IP address. If you have no IP pool, so you can set dedicated IP address per user. And local address is local gateway. Okay. Next, what you need to do is just enable the LTTP server from the setting. So we suggest you to I will suggest you to do with IPsec as well, because the LTTP only is not strong security, because if someone have your username and password, it's just enough to log into your VPN. So with IPsec, you must have the shared secret before you can connect. So for the password, you can go to make me password to make the complicated password. Okay, after all done, you can go to your devices and test for the connection. So now I will show you where from the Mikrotik Winbox, where to set up. Okay, now we go to Winbox application. IP addresses, WAN interface, I will not show you here because that one is already covered on MK01. So we go to PPP, how to enable the VPN server. Here we have a PPTP server, SSTP server, L2TP server, or VPN server. Okay, so for today we will cover on the L2TP server. Here, once you click, they will pop up one L2TP server tab. So you just enable it, and if you want to use IPsec, so you put it share secret. For example, testing 1, 2, 3. If no, you can just put no, and then okay. So your VPN server is already enabled. And then profile. Profile you can add here profile. L2TP VPN. So local address, you put your server local address network. For example, your local is 192.168.0.2.1. Remote address. If you have IP pool, so you can put here. I put example 172.1.6. 172.16.1.40. Okay, so I can choose pool that I create. So every user they will automatically get dynamic IP for VPN. Okay, you actually for the IP pool you can create another IP segment different with the local, or you can same with local. So if you choose to use same as a local, so you need to separate the IP. So you must reserve IP for VPN. And then next is secret. Secret is user to connect the VPN, username and password. For example, I use user one, and then password and services. If you choose L2TP, so they will using L2TP protocol lah, or VPN. So for today we use L2TP. Okay. Local address and remote address, no need to set because we already set inside the profile. If you not set the profile, so you need to put the local address and remote address. Okay, so next you just set the VPN client inside from your PC or phone. This one I think you already know how to. Okay, that one's about the VPN. So if you have any question about the VPN setup, you can ask me now before we proceed to second topic, PPOE. Anyone? You can open your mic or you can text from the chat box before we proceed to PPOE topics. Okay, now, so I proceed to next topic, PPOE. Yes, PPTP setup is actually same as the LTTP. You just click on the LTTP server from the interface. Okay. So if before that I choose LTTP, right? So if you are using PPTP, you just enable the PPTP server here. That's all. For the profile and user, same thing. Different just service type. So you choose the PPTP if you using PPTP. Right, okay. So we proceed to PPOE. Okay, next about Mikrotik PPOE client WAN connection. This one is normally we use to replace existing PM router or time router or Maxis router. So Mikrotik router is popular routing device to any network environment because Mikrotik is not restriction. Because for example, you use TM router, that one is only can connect with TM only. But by using Mikrotik, you can use any ISP to connect, and you can also combine multiple ISP in one router. So from there, after you connect, so you can either you want to do load balancing or failover also can. So that one is advantage for Mikrotik lah. Okay. And then example device, for this I put a PPOE username is Mikrotik WAN. This one is just for training session. So if you're using PM, so it will be at a Unify base or at Unify only lah. And then the password, the LAN gateway. This one is session at session MK01 DNS also. And then this information just for training purpose lah. This one is sample network diagram for example. In the network diagram, Mikrotik either one interface we connect to ISP that have a PPOE server is enabled. Okay, this one we focus on the ISP. Actually, Mikrotik itself can work as a PPOE server and PPOE client. So if you become the ISP provider, you also can use Mikrotik as a PPOE server, or maybe you at your apartment you want to provide the internet for your neighbor, so you can use a Mikrotik as a PPOE server, and then at the client side you can put one Mikrotik, a small Mikrotik, maybe HCX, and then you do the PPOE client. Same as if we connect with ISP, TM or Unify. Okay. And then PPOE client configuration on WAN interface. First thing, you about the Mikrotik, you can use any port for WAN. So there one no restriction. Like for example, TP-Link, there already specific one port for WAN. But the Mikrotik, you can choose any port you have from Ether 1 until Ether 10 or more. Okay, under general tab, PPO interface, you name the PPO WAN, and then you just input the information required. And then click on dial out tab. This one I will show you from the router board later. And then you just insert the ISP given username and password. Okay. And then here is the comparison about TM and Unify. If you can see here, the TM time there we're not using VLAN for the incoming. So you just direct choose which interface you want to use. Okay, and then from the PPPOE client side, you just put the username and password your ISP provided. If we go to Unify, they will use VLAN 500 for internet. So you must create a VLAN 500 first and choose which interface will carry the VLAN, and then after that you can continue with dial out. Okay, something like here. Okay, for example, we are using Unify, so you need to create the VLAN on the interface. Okay, for example, we are using Unify, TM Unify. So you need to create first the VLAN interface. Here example, VLAN Unify, and then Unify we're using VLAN 500, and then you choose which port you want to use for the ISP. For example, I choose Ether 5. Okay, and then okay. At the PPP tab, you go to interface. You can see here the plus sign. Okay, you just choose a PPOE client, and then you choose the interface. Because the Unify using VLAN 500, so you choose the VLAN 500 interface you have been created before, and then dial out. Here, for example, ABC at Unify. This, and then password. Okay. So you can click use the DNS. It will automatically add the DNS from ISP. Add default route is compulsory, and then just click apply. So status will be connected lah after you connect from the TM router, TM modem to Mikrotik router. Okay. If you're using if you're using time, they will have no VLAN interface. So you can ignore here. You no need to create the VLAN. You just create the PPPOE client, right? Okay, and then just choose the interface, physical interface. No need to choose a VLAN. For example, if you choose a interface for fine. Then same thing. You just put a username and password. That's all. Okay, same thing. All right. Okay, that one is different with ISP with VLAN and ISP without the VLAN. Okay, after that you can see the status lah. Status will be connected up if you put all the correct information from the ISP. Okay, here is some reference you can refer. If you're looking for Mikrotik reference, you can go to wiki.mikrotik.com, or you want to go you want to know about HTTP, so you can go to number 2, and number 3 is manual interface HTTP with IPsec. Number 2 just for HTTP only. Number 3 is IPsec server, and then number 4 how to configure Mikrotik with Unify setup. Okay, any question? Any question about the PPOE or VPN? You can ask. Okay, Ronnie, you want to connect Raspberry Pi to Mikrotik VPN? I think there's no issue. Raspberry Pi is same like your PC also. So it should be if your Raspberry Pi have the option to connect VPN, should be no problem. Okay, because someone using Raspberry Pi for mini PC, right? So that one is no issue. So if you have any technical question, queries, you can send email to help@syncro.com, or if you have question about the product or pricing, you can email to sales@syncro.com. Yeah. So anything else? Any question? Can I from my Mikrotik PPTP so browse resources at Raspberry Pi? What you mean actually, Ronnie? Raspberry Pi, you do as what? Actually, VPN just only link your network. They cannot read any information from your client devices. Yeah, can. If like that, can. Because your connection with the server already established. Or maybe you can do side-to-side VPN. So if you're using side-to-side VPN, so both side must be have a router. If you require two-way communication, I prefer you using side-to-side VPN connection. So yes, so I prefer you using side-to-side VPN solution. It's more convenient for you for your case because both side network will be connected. Okay. From others, anything? Yes, Nina will share to you all. He will email it later. Okay, if you have no any question, I will end my session today. Thank you for joining us. Okay, bye bye.